Okay, so we have our button defined as we created it in the XML file. We have now put what we call a listener on it, so listening for when it's pressed or clicked. What we need to do is call this, get this running in the background once it's pressed. So to do that, we need another line of code. Let's see if I can just get there. That's fine. So what we need to do is we need to have a new, and new will become sort of obvious to you when you start learning about object-oriented programming and why it's used. But we need a new one of these JSON task. Okay, notice that it says it's never used. Well, now it's going to be used. New. Oops. Oh, if I do it that way, JSON task. So let's select it from there. It's going to open the brackets, and we're not going to put anything in the brackets. We're not going to finish off the semicolon. There is another function in here which is not available to you. You can't see it at the moment, but it's called execute, meaning run. So if I put the dot, we get execute, and it's expecting a string. There's a load of parameters. So execute, and the string that we're going to pass into it, the parameters, are the website that we want to go to, HTTP. Now we need to fully specify the website. We can't just write localhost or something else like that. It's got to be fully specified. So HTTP // and then, if you remember, we need to give it the correct IP address, 192.168.0.7. that's my server, and where I need to go to is sandbox, and inside sandbox I think we called it get data.php. So that's my parameters. Now I'm mentioning this string parameters because if we look at the async task, I put string, because it's going to accept 3 strings, but the first string, okay, is really this set of parameters here. So we're passing in this set of parameters on that very first string. If I just type A there, that's capital A, async task, there we go. It's saying that the 3 things I want are the parameters, then some progress information, so have I completed, am I still going, and then finally it's going to pass back out the result to wherever it's got to go. So we are looking at these parameters here, and these parameters are, well, what's the website, what you're trying to do. So that's what I put in there. So I'm going to finish that line off with the semicolon, and there we go. So I have actually created I've set this in motion. I've set this little thing to run in the background and work. I think now's the time to test all of our files and see what's happening. So I'm going to run my program. Okay, let's take a look at the emulator, see what happens. Good, no errors, no warnings, and well, it won't do a great deal because we haven't set it to do anything. But we do have a button that works. So when I press it, it works and it starts this thread working. However, we can't see a lot. Okay, I'm pressing it and nothing seems to be happening. It would be nice if we could just sort of see if there was something happening when we pressed it. So I'm going to add a line of text in here that we're going to remove. We're only going to put it in briefly just to see if something's going to happen. And if you remember back in a few videos ago, I was telling you that we're going to look down here and we're going to use this area to see what is happening with our programs, and that we can set our own debug messages, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to type log.d for debug, and if you notice we've got a string tag and a string message. The tag is this and the message is the bit after the colon, so I'm going to use that, and inside there I'm going to put 2 strings. I'm just going to put debug so I can see what I'm doing. Debug, not debig. And separate that with a comma and then put my message. It seems to be working, and put a semicolon at the end of the line. So hopefully this time when I run my program, I'm going to get a message down here telling me that this is actually working in the background. So let's try that. Now this is quite useful, this log function, and you may have that in red, to be honest. It may be red and you may have to import android.util log. So if you've got a red item there, then that is why. So let's take a look at the emulator. The program's up and running. Okay, there we go. We're all ready. So when I press the button, bang, it seems to be working. Okay, it's a D message from the log.d. It's got the word debug from the first part of the set of parameters, and then it's got the message, it seems to be working. And every time I press that, it should start up and it should run that program in the background. It seems to be working, it seems to be working, it seems to be working. Now there's nothing actually happening in the background, it's just starting the program, nothing to do, it's exiting it and coming back to here every time, allowing me to re-click on the button. So that's the program sort of working at the moment. What I need to do is pick up the information, what's going to happen when this stops. As I said, it stops. I've got no idea that it stopped. It just comes back to here. But I want the results and to be able to pick up the results, because these are eventually going to pick up the information from the database, and I want to be able to play with that.